The CEO of a Polish company has come out with an apology after a video went viral.
That was a grown man in the stand stealing that hat from a child.
What if millions of people thought you were the villain in a viral video, even though you weren't even there? That's exactly what happened after one tense moment at the US Open spiraled into chaos online. A tennis player tried to give a cap to a young fan, but another man stepped in and snatched it from his hands. Within hours, the clip was everywhere. People weren't just angry, they were hunting for a name. And when they found one, the outrage came fast. But here's the twist. Thanks to a single hyphen in a company's name, some people ended up hitting the wrong CEO and the wrong company. Kamil Majchrzak had just pulled off a huge win at the US Open. He spotted a boy named Brock in the stands and held out his cap as a gift. It should have been a simple, heartwarming moment. Instead, a man leaned in and yanked the cap right out of Brock's hands. The boy's protest was clear. No, what are you doing? But the man kept it. The crowd noticed, and so did the cameras. Within hours, the clip was spreading across every platform. Slowed down, zoomed in, captioned with words like shameless and greedy. The internet was eating it up. By the next morning, anyone scrolling their feed had probably seen it. The question wasn't just, what happened? It was, who is this guy? And soon people thought they had an answer. But here's where things went sideways, because as the internet raced to unmask him, a different CEO, one who had nothing to do with the match, was about to get dragged into the storm. Online detectives didn't waste any time. Within hours, the man in the clip was identified as Piotr Szczerek, a wealthy Polish businessman tied to a paving stone company called Drog-Bruk. And once his name was out, the backlash exploded. Comment sections filled with rage. Memes mocked the grab. Even his company's online search results got review bombed. Instead of ads or normal business info, people searching his name were hit with headlines and angry posts about the stolen cap. For a CEO, that's a nightmare no money can easily clean up. Meanwhile, Majchrzak wasn't sitting back either. He jumped on social media, asking fans to help track down the boy.
Well, the tennis player did ask for the kid to be found. The kid was found, and as I understand it, he brought the kid in and made the kid whole.
And it worked. He found Brock, met him in person, signed autographs, and gave him more memorabilia. The kid went home smiling, a small win in the middle of the storm. But while one boy's disappointment was fixed, another man's life was about to get crushed by mistake. Because as the outrage grew, a similar-looking name belonging to a completely different company was pulled into the fire. Here's where things get really unfair. While the internet was tearing into the man in the video, some people directed their rage to someone who had nothing to do with it. Another company in Poland had almost the exact same name, except for one tiny hyphen. And because of that, its CEO, Roman Szkaradek, and his employees got dragged into a scandal they had no part in. Imagine this. You wake up, check your phone, and suddenly strangers are flooding your business pages with one-star reviews. The phones won't stop ringing, but it's not customers, it's angry people screaming at your employees over something you didn't even do. That's what Roman and his team went through. They weren't at the match, they weren't even in the same story, but they still took the hit. And here's the part that makes me sad. His workers, people who were just trying to do their jobs, suddenly found themselves answering calls filled with hate. They didn't deserve any of this. None of them did. Think about being Roman for a second. You're running your company, minding your own business, and then bam, you're the internet's villain of the week. Your employees are stressed out. Your family is watching your good name get trashed, and all because of a video you weren't even in. Roman had to step in just to protect the people around him. He explained over and over that his company, Drog-Bruk, with a hyphen, was not the same as Drog-Bruk, the one connected to the man in the clip. He begged people to stop targeting his business. He tried to calm worried clients and keep his employees from burning out. But here's the truth. Once the internet mob decides you're guilty, it doesn't really care about the facts, and that's exactly the problem. Outrage is fine when it's pointed at the right person who deserves it, but dragging innocent people, their families, and their employees into a storm they don't deserve, that's crossing the line. He and his workers had to deal with harassment, insults, and review bombs. That's not justice. That's collateral damage. And honestly, it needs to stop. Be mad at Piotr if you want. He's the one on camera. But dragging innocent people through the mud, that's just lazy rage. It ruins lives, and it helps nobody. And honestly, I hope Roman's company bounces back stronger. I hope his employees get treated with the respect they deserve. Because they were victims here, collateral damage in a scandal they they had nothing to do with. If anything, they deserve an apology, not harassment. Meanwhile, some people still wanted to hear from the actual man in the video. Would he admit what happened? Would he clear things up? Or would he just make the backlash worse? Days later, the actual man in the clip finally spoke. His name, Piotr Szczerek, was already burned into headlines and memes. In his statement, he claimed the whole thing was a misunderstanding. He said he thought the cap was being handed to his sons and that he never meant to take it from the boy. He apologized to Brock, his family, the fans, and even the tennis player himself. But people weren't buying it. The video was too clear. The boy protested. The grab looked deliberate. For many, his words didn't match what their eyes had seen. Instead of calming things down, the apology felt like damage control. Adding to the confusion, unverified quotes started circulating. Claims that he'd said things like, "Life is first come, first served," or that his legal team was threatening critics. Szczerek denied all of it. He insisted those posts were fake, and to be fair, major outlets flagged them as unverified. But by then, it didn't matter. The rumors had already stuck. The fallout split into two tracks. Szczerek, the man in the clip, was branded online as greedy and shameless. Roman Szkaradek, the innocent CEO, became collateral damage, attacked for nothing more than a hyphen in his company's name. And the tennis player? He salvaged the moment by giving Brock a proper meet and greet, creating the heartwarming ending that should have happened the first time. But the video itself, that never faded. It kept circulating as proof of how fast a reputation can collapse, and how the internet sometimes punishes the wrong people just as harshly as the guilty. In the end, a simple fan moment turned into a global spectacle. A boy went home disappointed, a tennis player had to step in and fix things, and one businessman walked away with a reputation shattered in front of millions. Piotr Szczerek may call it a misunderstanding. He may insist it was all confusion in the heat of the moment, but the video speaks louder than any statement. The grab looked deliberate, the boy's protest was clear, and the apology came only after the outrage caught fire. For most people, it wasn't an innocent mistake. It was entitlement caught on camera. But here's the part that stings even more. The internet's fury didn't stop with the man in the clip. It spilled over onto someone who had absolutely nothing to do with it. Roman Szkaradek woke up to hate calls, review bombs, and a crushed reputation, all because his company's name looked almost the same. One hyphen was enough to drag him and his employees into chaos they never caused. And that's the real warning here. Outrage online can take down the guilty, but it can just as easily destroy the innocent. Roman paid a price he never earned, while Piotr tried to rewrite the story after the fact. My hope is that Roman and his employees can rebuild stronger, that clients and communities see past the noise, and that they get the respect and, honestly, the apologies they deserve. Because if anyone came out of this as true victims, it was them. So here's the question. When the internet decides to play judge and jury, are we really holding the right people accountable? Or are we just firing in every direction and hoping we hit the right target? Let me know what you think. Was this a simple mistake that got blown out of proportion, or proof of someone's true character caught in the act? And what about Roman? Shouldn't the internet owe him an apology too? Drop your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video.